Good morning, everyone. It is day 2 of the K-8 learning resource for Indigenous education. So basically how it's set up, how we're going to set it up is this week we're doing 2 grade level lessons yesterday, and we're going to do another one tomorrow. And in between, we're hoping to do Indigenous knowledge sessions, hopefully with elders. It's a little bit of harder to try get elders that are Facebook savvy and able to do live videos, but we'll figure it out, and we'll get some elders teachings on here on off days. And then starting next week, we're going to do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and in between those on Tuesday and Thursday, we will be doing lessons on that. But today, I have with us here my son Camden, and as you can see, Camden has some long hair. So we're gonna do a lesson today on the importance of hair, boys with braids, and shout out to my brother Michael Linklater, who did a lot of work on boys with braids and continues to do some of that work. But I thought this would be just kind of for everybody to have an idea on why we do this work and why the boys with braids are important. I'm gonna give it a go. So Camden, you want to say hello to everybody?
Hi.
All right. So just a funny story. When I was probably about maybe in my mid-20s, I went to visit my great-grandmother. Her name was Lucy Ryder from Carry the Kettle. It was her mid-90th, 90-something birthday, and I walked up to her, and I had short hair. I had some frosted tips, when that was cool back in the 90s. So I walked up to her, and she kind of put her handkerchief over her face, and she kind of laughed made a little joke, and she said, "Who is this Wasichu that's here?" And then I was like, I started laughing too, and everybody in the room was laughing. And then she told me 2 very important lessons that I never forgot. Number 1, she said that Nakotas and Assiniboines, that's who we are. We have long hair. It's important for us to have long hair. And then she also said, never ever forget your relatives. Make sure that you do everything you can to know and remember your relatives. So those are 2 lessons that stayed with me. She told me that directly. And then when my son was born, I made a vow that I was going to grow my hair with him. So now I have long hair. Not as cool and not as awesome as his long hair, but I do have long hair. So she taught me that. And then as we went through, there were some lessons and some teachings that were part of why we do this. So every morning, my partner and I, depending on who's available and who's able to, we take turns braiding our son's hair. And a lot of Indigenous parents across Turtle Island and Canada, North America, we have children with long hair, and sometimes kids at schools and sometimes kids out in public, they might get teased or they might get bullied for having long hair, and assuming that that's only girls that can do that. But what we instill in our home is that Indigenous children are our hair is very powerful. It's meaningful. This is a warrior statement. So every morning, I'm just going to go through kind of our routine. So Camden comes down in the morning, has usually a healthy breakfast. So he's rocking a smoothie that he made himself this morning. And what we do is we sit him down and we just talk to him. And while we're doing it, what we were taught, and of course, you have to. It's easier for me, and I need some little cheating things, like I need some gel, some hairspray. But we put this water in our hair. Water is very sacred, of course, to all of our Indigenous people. We make big, huge efforts on protecting our water, and we use that water to help us and create, make it easier for dads to braid hairs. And so we get this going. So while we're getting the hair ready, it's important, some of the things and teachings that we were taught is that our hair is it's a tool for us, a protection tool. It's powerful. So when we're braiding hair, his mom and I, when we look at braiding our son's hair, we put good thoughts and we put good vibes and prayers so that he has an amazing day, so that he learns as much as he can, so that he's protected from any evil that's out there in the world, that his hair will take that and it will protect him throughout the day. So we put those types of understanding. I use, this is not traditional or indigenous, but I use some gorilla snot, we call it. And I use this because it helps with the flyaways, you know, it makes it easier for me as a dad to braid hair because I don't have the skills his mom has. So, you know, we put these, this product in the hair, and that's colonization right there, but it is the best that I can do. And what I do is I put this, the product in the hair, but it doesn't diminish the fact of what I'm trying to do for my son in terms of the thoughts and prayers and power. So, you know, we have so many tools that the Creator gave us, and you know, this one tool, this tool right here, is a sense of pride. No matter where he goes, my son makes sure that he has his hair braided. He makes sure that we put this hair up in a braid, and we make sure that he looks after it. There are so many other teachings that come with this. You know, there's reasons why in times of mourning that we cut our hair. There's reasons why we leave our hair down at certain times. There's all kinds of things. There's times when we do our two braids. There's times that we do different things in terms of, you know, different ceremonies and all that kind of stuff. So our hair is a vital component. And as we come to different tribes and different nations, the hair is actually a defining characteristic of names. So any of my Blackfoot relatives, you know, I have a lot of Blackfoot relatives because I grew up in Pondmaker, Saskatchewan, and you know, Crowfoot is a relative of ours. And you know, how they name the Nakotas is by the part down the middle of their hair. You know, so there's a lot of that happens in terms of how we braid and how we do this. So now, in terms of my skill level, I could do two braids, which is our traditional hair that we would normally do whenever we sign up and are ready to do Facebook selfies, or we're ready to do a family picture. You know, we all rock two braids, but that is way beyond my skill level, man. I don't have the skill to do two braids, so I'm gonna do a one braider this morning for my son, and you know, we'll talk about that. So our braids, as Indigenous people, and you know, like, we use the 3-strand kind of method again, you know, while we're putting all these good thoughts. So in my mind right now, you know, we're not necessarily like putting these out, you know, saying them out loud, but in my mind right now, I'm thinking about how much love that I have for my son, how much love I have from like all my children, but I'm putting this vibe into my son's hair so that it protects him and it gives him strength throughout the day. So whatever challenges might come or anything that could possibly affect him in a negative way, that he has the strength to overcome some of that, and that he finds a way to finds a way and finds the strength to move forward in that. So it's a super cool strategy, I guess, or I don't know how you want to do it, but. And then I don't know if people are kind of out there thinking, you know, this is supposed to be K to 12, you know, this is our K to 8, and these are supposed to be lessons. How is this applicable to school? You know, everything that I'm sharing is identity, self. You know, we're talking about, you know, health, hygiene. We're talking about all these things we can find, and we can create spaces where we can attach these to curriculum outcomes in every single province or every single state that's tuning in and listening. So this is important. So so when I'm braiding at the back here, what we're taught, you know, mind, body, spirit, you know, our whole self and who we are. We break that our children's hair down into those 3 strands, and we think about that his mind is strong, you know, that his body is healthy, and especially at these times right now, we want all of our children to be healthy. We want all of our elders and our families to be healthy. We think that of our bodies to be healthy, and then our spirit, you know, that little piece of us who, you know, just continues to push through, that finds inspiration, you know, our connection to who we are. We break those down into those 3 pieces, just like a braid of sweetgrass, you know, same thing. And then we go ahead and then we start braiding. And when I was a young kid, we spent a lot of time in a place called Matutu Lake in Indigenous, Manitoba, picking sweetgrass in the summertime with my grandmother. And my grandmother would pick lots of sweetgrass because she would give that sweetgrass away to different people, you know, people that weren't able to go out and pick. She'd gift that to people, and we'd be sitting in outside after all the sweetgrass is there, tied up, drying up, and then we'd all take turns and we'd all braid it. So that's where I learned to braid. You know, I learned to braid like by braiding sweetgrass. It's a little bit harder when you have to braid your own hair. You know, like as you're learning. Like I learned as an adult to braid my hair. I learned as an adult to try and figure out how to do it. It's not good. Whenever I need to look presentable, I make sure that my partner braids my hairs, or my sisters, or my moms or aunties, you know, make sure to do that, because hair is so sacred. Our hair is actually a tool, you know, to put all of these good vibes and these good feelings in there, which is why it's important that we're careful with who touches and who braids our hair, because our hair is susceptible to all of these good teachings, but it's also susceptible at the same time. If you're angry and you're braiding your child's hair, you're braiding somebody's hair, you're angry, or you're not in the right state of mind, you'll put some of those vibes and some of those feelings into the hair as well. So we're always careful to make sure that, you know, we trust that person that's looking after and braiding our hair. And we tell that to our son as well, you know, that it's an extension of ourselves, and it's an extension of who we are, and that it's so important that we look after it and trust it as best we can in terms of our identity. Now, this braid is now done. So, you know, my son, as he goes, here's his braid here. As he goes throughout the day, he's gonna carry this. He's gonna run and he's gonna play. He's gonna have a really good time. His hair will get all frizzy. It'll kind of go all crazy. And when I braid it, when he comes back home, it's a little bit kind of wild. But it is the way that we do it. And this is just the glimpse, you know, on the off days for this teaching, and off days for the K-12 Think Indigenous education. I thought that this would be a cool second piece way to do this. So with that, you know, we're done. Stay tuned tomorrow. We're back to lessons for each grade level, and take care, everybody. Cheers.